Moriko was an overworked corporate slave who finally snapped and decided to become a shut-in gamer. Just when she thought this was the end of her life, she suddenly fell in love with a party member in her game, making her willing to do anything for him. It all starts with Maro getting back home after a long, soul-crushing day at work. She immediately crashes into bed and sleeps like a corpse. The next morning, she wakes up late but then remembers she's officially back in the unemployment sector, so she spends her time cleaning up. After trying to play an old game and realizing it's no longer available, she thinks back to her days as a keyboard warrior and starts searching for a new one. Moments later, she installs a new game, quickly sets up her character and logs in as Hayashi, wondering why her character somehow looks even more pathetic than she does. Just then, Hayashi gets his first side quest and rushes to a mansion to defeat Master Spiner's cousin, who proceeds to slap him straight into the Shadow Realm. After minutes of respawning and getting bullied back to the afterlife, Moro considers giving up until a hottie named Lily shows up and offers Hayashi some help. He explains how weak and pathetic he is, but she tells him to relax, accept being a newbie, and stop thinking he can dominate a boss with his peasant-level skills. After showing him around, Lily asks if they can keep adventuring together. Maro instantly gets an anxiety attack in real life but still manages to accept her friend's request. With Lily's help, Hayashi quickly learns to fight and level up in the dungeons. Eventually, she convinces him to face the boss again. This time, he manages to avoid instant death. Lily uses her healing magic to recharge his HP bar, letting him finally defeat the boss. After the takedown, Lily suggests searching for a treasure chest, and he luckily finds one filled with gold coins and bracelets. After she shows him a similar bracelet on her wrist, he equips both of them and tells her he'll never take them off so they can match forever. Days later, he finds a quest in the ocean and instantly drags Lily with him. Meanwhile, Moriko, who has emptied her bank account upgrading her gaming setup, keeps losing her grip on reality. As the game switches into Christmas mode, he gets an idea. He goes to the lobby with Lily but turns down her request to go monster hunting before running off. He keeps avoiding her in the days that follow and starts hanging around a group of shut-ins who talk endlessly about wasting their existence upgrading virtual characters. Seeing how comfortable Hayashi is, Chan reminds him of that time Hayashi taught them there are actually people weaker than his pull-out game. Hayashi thanks him for the help and training and they toast to his growth. Suddenly, Emeralda notices Lily sitting alone and asks why. She explains that Hayashi has been giving her the cold shoulder lately. Afterward, Himala pulls Chan aside and tells him to fix it as the leader of their party. He then calls Hayashi out on a quest and pops the big question, before reminding him of the rule against party members spreading each other's cakes. He explains how Lily often has to deal with unhinged creeps trying to smash her virtual buns and tells Hayashi to keep being her friend like before. Hayashi then reveals he's actually been grinding points to get her a crystal rose as a Christmas gift. But before Chan can roast him for being the corniest simp alive, a giant elephant crashes in and unleashes a flurry of ice boars. Later, Lily climbs a tree to enjoy the scenery and Hayashi joins her. After noticing how drained he looks, she uses her healing magic on him. She asks if their friendship is stressing him out and Maro forgets how to type. She's never been this close to a hottie before. Thankfully, Lily tells him not to worry, he's probably just been busy leveling up. When he asks if she'd like to hang out for Christmas, she says yes. Moriko logs out and goes to get food, only to find her fridge completely empty. At the grocery store, her social anxiety skyrockets, so she rushes to fill her basket and joins the checkout line. She spots the last piece of chicken on sale and her stomach starts singing a special version of Jingle Bells. At the same moment, another shopper named Yuta sees a point card for the game in her basket and gets curious. They both reach for the same chicken and Maro nearly dies on the spot. But after hearing her stomach's Grammy-winning performance, Yuta lets her take it and she immediately runs off. Later, she logs in to wait for Lily. When Lily arrives, she gives Hayashi a special die as a Christmas gift. Hayashi gives her the rose, saying he couldn't get the crystal rose, but she smiles and says it's no problem. Days later, Maro finishes grocery shopping again, but the cashier Kazumi stops her because she literally forgot every single thing she bought. After thanking him, he notices the point card and tries to ask about the game, but someone calls him back inside and he rushes off. Later on, Hayashi takes on a dungeon beast with help from a powerful mage named Lilac. After the takedown, Little Miss Yapsalot starts talking about how the other party members are always active in the evening, and Maro immediately senses where this conversation is heading. Without warning, Lilac straight up asks if he's one of those ugly, friendless creeps in the real world. Moriko panics and tries to protect her reputation, but luckily Lilac starts yapping about everyone else. She reassures him that she's just happy he's online playing with her. Then, Lilac tries to guess who Hayashi really is. She says he's probably a fresh college graduate like her, someone with a lot of free time because he hasn't found a job yet. Knowing that revealing his reality as a lazy boomer would probably scare her off, Hayashi pretends she got it right. Later that day, he meets Lily for a walk by the beach. She asks about life in college, which shocks him. She explains that Lilac already told everyone just to win a bet about his age. After Lily expresses her surprise and says he has a whole life ahead of him, Hayashi decides to try his luck by asking her real age. She reminds him that the whole point of the virtual world is anonymity and suggests he learn to mind his own business. Overwhelmed by the emotional damage, Hayashi starts bawling. She laughs and says it was all just a joke to tease him, apologizing for being a bit harsh. She admits she felt curious when Lilac started talking about him, even though she knew it was wrong. Despite this, she decides to share a little about her real life. But Hayashi's brain overloads from dopamine and he can barely process it. Moments later, he tells her she should only share more once they've built trust. She thanks him for being kind, unaware that he just feels like an overaged loser lying to hide his miserable reality. As they walk, she tells him not to judge Chan for making the bet because he's usually a good guy who even saved their party from disbanding. Soon, Maro realizes it's already 5 a.m. Hayashi reminds Lily that she has a 9 to 5 in real life, and she panics. Hayashi offers to stay up with her since going to bed is no longer an option. Several hours later, Maro heads to a pharmacy to get some drugs. At the same time, UDA apologizes to his boss while looking for a cab and accidentally elbows Maro in the face. Maro wakes up in a hospital bed, haunted by the horrors of corporate life in her dreams, and sees UDA taking a nap beside her. After explaining what happened and apologizing for nearly giving her permanent brain damage, he asks if she's still in pain. She tries to act tough, even with tears in her eyes. UDA offers to pay for her treatment and scrambles to give her his contact info, writing it on a piece of paper so she can reach out instead of suing him. After taking her name, he hails her a cab and remembers a manuscript from work with her name on it. Later, Moriko obsesses over his details and logs into the game to think about him. Himmer shows up with the others and asks if he's okay. He explains he just needs to clear his head, and Chan offers help in any way they can. Moments later, they all start joking that what happened with UDA is a love story in the making. Quietly watches as they suggest all sorts of ridiculous ways to get them together, advice that would definitely land Moriko in jail. He decides to send UDA an email and logs off to craft the perfect message. UDA, who is out getting dinner with a senior coworker, receives the email and immediately replies. Moriko freaks out and logs back in to tell the others that she now wants to take him out and properly apologize for the accident. Seeing how excited everyone gets, she returns to the real world to continue freaking out. After noticing she looks like a Halloween costume, she logs back in and climbs Lily's tree to think. Lily shows up, explaining that she also comes there after a long day of work to forget her stress. After promising to keep the tree as their secret spot, they agree to vent to each other whenever the real world becomes too much. Later, Moriko decides to finally respond to UDA. After sending the text, she realizes it's way past midnight and panics, thinking it's too late. The next day, UDA sees the text and freezes in shock. He goes out for breakfast with Homer and spends the first few minutes arguing about a nickname he keeps calling him. Then he asks if he remembers Moriko from her last job. After checking the manuscript, he recalls her as the girl he gave a weird nickname to. The manuscript shows how competent she was at the job. Homer admits she even filled in for the person in charge at times. UDA grows curious about how close they got. He recalls one night she filled in for her department head, helping with files he sent over. During the call, he noticed her emotional reactions at not being able to finish on time and reassured her, telling her she was already working late. He then asked for her name, thinking it would be a good idea to completely change it to random gibberish because it sounded cooler the trip down memory lane. Hayashi pulls up a picture of Moriko and admits he's been thinking about tracking her down to see if she's a freak in the sheets like her ex. UDA gets startled and drops his chopsticks. They both bend over to pick them up, going back and forth over which pair is clean, until UDA reminds him that lunchtime barely lasts an hour. On the way back to work, Moriko heads into a store while UDA keeps walking. He reads through Moriko's unnecessarily long rejection text. That night, Moriko thinks back on everything that has happened and for the first time starts feeling less like a pathetic failure. Once inside the store, Kazumi notices her happy expression but hides his excitement. When she gets to the counter to pay, he sees the game card again and considers asking about it, but another customer shows up so he quickly processes her order. Moriko rushes home to start playing again. Once in the game, Hayashi spots Pakuro, who asks how he's feeling since Lilac had already told them all about his real-world issues. Hayashi says they were worried it might cause him to stop playing, but it actually helped him escape the depression of his pathetic life. Pakuro gets excited to hear that, but then Hayashi receives a gift from Lily. The shock nearly gives Moriko a heart attack. Hayashi opens it and finds an expensive robe which bums him out. He's too broke to give her a proper gift. Moriko explains that she understands because another player, Nico, once gave her a gift out of nowhere just to help a newbie. Hayashi realizes Lily is trying to do the same thing and asks Pakuro about the scrolls he's been creating. After explaining how they make casting spells easy, Pakuro advises him not to overthink the gift because he might never figure out Lily's true motives. Moriko immediately logs off to take his advice, but after trying to distract herself with a soda and a quick cleanup, she gets frustrated. She hops back online to find Lily. Hayashi climbs the tree and tries to hand over the present, asking if she has any ulterior motive. He quickly apologizes, saying he was just curious. Lily admits she has a special reason for giving it to him and starts sharing about herself. When she first started playing, tons of people spammed her chat with requests to partner up. She mostly ended up in pickup groups. Being the game's cutest baddie came with perks, but she never lasted long in a party because other girls saw her as a threat. She explains that she kept playing despite all the hate because she once had someone special who played the games with her. Hayashi remembers having someone like that too, realizing it's probably why he got so addicted to gaming. Lily continues, saying Kambai had helped make her game life easier by pretending to be her partner so she wouldn't be seen as a threat. She's kept her guard up around people until Hayashi showed up. She turns to him with a look that makes him anxious and asks if he will be her official partner, explaining how peaceful she feels when they go on missions together. Moriko takes a break to calm her racing hormones. After a few minutes, she hops back online with the robe and accepts Lily's request. Chamb and the others watch and express how happy they are to finally see Lily with a partner. The next day, Moriko checks the recent loot boxes and realizes she'll have to dip into her life savings just to afford the items. A quick memory of Lily's face wipes away all sense and she decides to go all out. Meanwhile, a gamer named Nano talks to herself about Hayashi becoming Lily's official partner and wonders if Chamb is really okay with it. At the store, moments later, Yashiro calls Kazumi to say someone else will fill in at work on the day he plans to take an interview. Nano tries to wish him luck but remembers he might quit if it goes well, so she takes it back. She reminds him to take off the e-money maintenance sign in a few minutes and notes she forgot to tell them earlier since Moriko is the only one who buys it apart from him. Just then she walks into the store and grabs her usual drink. She notices a mushroom and convinces herself it looks similar to Lily. After losing her senses for a moment, she finishes up and tries to pay. Kazumi tells Moriko about the maintenance and suggests waiting a couple of minutes as it will be done soon. She agrees and tries to wait, but he quickly gets bored of the awkward silence. He asks if she's trying to get items from the loot boxes. Seeing the shock on her face, he explains that he is also a player and starts rambling about the game. A customer slams the table to remind him that they're in the real world. Moriko immediately starts heading out, but Kazumi tells her to stop by again soon, causing her to freak out on the way home. Later, she logs into the game to talk with Chan about the loot boxes. She spots Lilac, Little Miss Yaps a lot, who reveals her new look. Moriko goes nuts knowing that such an outfit costs a small fortune. Kanbei asks if Lilac spent her college tuition just to look good in a game. Lilac starts yelling at him, but he stands firm, saying there's a difference between having fun and being a stupid attention-seeking hoe. After Pakuro logs in and almost absorbs Lilac, Hayashi expresses a strong desire to win the lot prize by getting as many loot boxes as possible. Everyone immediately gets shocked, warning that making such a statement might curse his chances of winning. Hayashi breaks down in regret. Lilac apologizes, saying they were only messing with him. Moments later, Lily shows up, excited to get the loot boxes with him. Moriko charges up the point card and Hayashi uses it for the first loot box, but it turns out to be just regular healing potions. Despite the initial failure, everyone convinces him to keep trying. He cheers up and Lilac starts paying close attention to him. After what feels like eons of trial and error, Hayashi's luck improves. He eventually wins 2 first prizes. Lily also gets a bunch of top prizes. Pakuro asks what she would have done if it went badly. She reminds him that while they're limited by their minimum wage 9 to 5 jobs, she can easily pay for whatever she wants. Lilac then says she plans to get darker colors for her outfits. Hayashi tries to glaze again, but Chan takes over, saying it's a good idea because flashy colors are wasted on a character as ugly as hers. On their next party hunt, Pakuro scolds Chaim for always roasting Lilac, since she's decided to dump the outfit she spent so much money on. The nagging causes Chanet to realize that it's actually Himala playing Pooh's character, as they are married in the real world. He tells Chan to forget about that and focus on speaking to Lilac a little better. Hayashi and Lily, noticing the outfit change, ask Lilac why she switched. She claims the outfit she spent money on just wasn't really her style. Meanwhile, Uda goes out for lunch with Homer and still tries to figure out why Moriko refused to go out with him. Homer calls him a creepy stalker because, apart from obsessing over getting a text back and running simulations in his mind, he has been stopping by the store hopping to run into her after dark. Homer tracks down the store closest to where he bumped into Moriko and meets Kazumi, who is still on shift. After wandering around like a desperate fool, he eventually buys something and heads toward the exit, just as Moriko shows up with her mommy milkers. Her homeless appearance makes it hard to recognize her, and he almost leaves. A gut feeling makes him turn back and talk to her. Moriko is initially freaked out but keeps responding. She says something that reminds him of her voice from when she was still a half-decent adult. He calls her by name and explains the phone call from that night. She remembers and gets excited to see him. The excitement fades when he asks what she's been up to. She musters the courage to say that she's been slummed out as a hipster after quitting her job. He shares that he also quit the company before getting a new job. He asks if she would like to get drinks over the weekend. Her social anxiety immediately kicks in, but before she can make an excuse, he counters every possible scenario, leaving her no choice but to accept. If you loved this anime story and want to know what happens next, drop a comment below and I'll make part 2 just for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.